All right, welcome back. So let's talk about pre-foreclosures. Secret banks don't want you to know. Um, Again, we're going to talk within the context of real estate rentals, how they're losing money, how people are losing lots of money. But as this part of our face on this particular channel, my Empire Pro, I really just want to focus on. I want to focus on practical things you can actually execute right away. The software that I'm using is called PropStream. It's a web-based software that you can take advantage of, and you can easily just find it at my empire. You can take a trial of it, free trial of it at myempirepro.com/PropStream. So you're going to see me use it a lot. Okay. And if you decide you want to be a customer of PropStream, you'll be supporting the platform, and I will appreciate that. All right. So let's talk about pre-foreclosure secrets that the banks don't want you to know. If you know what, it's let me see here. Uh, let's see here. Yeah, sorry about that. Just give me 1 second, guys. Let me just make sure. Submit this. Submit. Okay, we could make that happen. All right, sorry about that, guys. So we're back here. Yeah, so I use this prop string for everything. Again, the bank. This is. I'm just gonna go with Somerset County today. Somerset County in New Jersey is one of my target market. All right. Yes, I just said that out loud. It doesn't matter to me. You can target it if you want, but in target market, you can in that target market. I mean, there are how many counties around the nation? Somerset County has 399 pre-foreclosures. Okay, a lot of that are people's rentals. A lot of that is. Let me make sure my audio is working. Actually, okay, good. A lot of that is people. Hey, Marriott, good to see you, Marriott. A lot of that are people's properties. A lot of that is landlord tired, something we call tired landlords. Tired landlords are people that basically don't live in the property, but they've owned the property for 7 years. Okay, there is a general assumption that once somebody has been a landlord for 7 years, they're probably tired of dealing with tenants, and the average landlord of a two-family units, two or three, 2 to 4, anything 4 units, 4 units property or less, and they've owned it for 7 years. On an average, their tire landlords, they would happily give you the property and get rid of it because usually they are in the losses. Okay. As a matter of fact, in my church, I was talking to one of the elders in my church the other day, and he was he blabbed it out that they just closed the deal. I said, just close the deal. You didn't talk to me. He was like, oh no, it's just for a friend. I was like, okay, whatever. But he basically said that they've done that, been there, done that, and most people that have tried to be landlords actually feel that way. They feel tired. Okay. But here's something that people don't know about pre-foreclosure. Pre-foreclosure, first of all, what is pre-foreclosure, and why we're talking about it in real estate investing? It's very simple. All right. Pre-foreclosure is basically the lawsuit foreclosure is the lawsuit that the bank files to try to collect on on a defaulted loan. So people take mortgages, right? They collect loans to buy a piece of property, and then people stop making their payment. If they stop making their payments, at some point here in New Jersey, last time I checked, about 3 months, 3 months they allow you grace to catch up. After another 2 to 3 months, they will file the paperwork at the courthouse. It's called the intention to foreclose on you, basically, and they're going to take the property. They're attempting. It's a collection activity. They're attempting to take the collateral away from you, right? The property. So some people say, oh, so you never owned the property? No, you did own the property, but they owned the promissory note that you signed. using the property as the collateral damage for in case you default, right? So that's what that is. But what you didn't know is that the bank is just as scared as you are, right? Well, not exactly scared, but the bank has a lot at stake, okay? Because for every foreclosure on their books, it becomes what you might look at as bad credit. You know, like as an individual, you have bad credit, right? So the more foreclosures a bank, so if a bank issue like 100 pieces of mortgages, right, and they have a certain threshold, right, that they don't, that they want, that they understand that life happens, that they might have to file this foreclosure lawsuit against individuals who have not paid for whatever reasons. But honestly, the less of those type of issues they have, the better for them, because they do have their own credit ratings. And if they keep giving out a bunch of loans and people are not paying, that's going to come back and bite them in the butt. You feel me? That's going to come back and bite them in the butt. So it's very, very important to know that the bank is just, they have a lot at stake, just as much as you do, probably 10,000 times more, right? So that's a secret you need to know. So when you are in pre-foreclosure, let's say you are a person facing foreclosure potentially, and the bank has filed paperwork at the bank, there's a principle that they call you pay, you stay. You pay, you stay, right? If you pay, they just want the money. That's what they want, okay? But they also understand that they're not always going to get the money, but they would like to cut their losses as much as possible. So there's something at the bank that they call it non-performing assets, right? The bank don't want your house. They don't want the house, okay? So I'm talking to you as a potential or an existing investor, right? The banks don't want the house. What they want again is the money. So what money? How much money? Well, oftentimes, if we're dealing with pre-foreclosures, people are owing a lot more than the property is worth, right? So you just have to be open to potentially negotiating. So if we go here and go under pre-foreclosure, and I'm looking at this house is under pre-foreclosure, is a house on Bridgewater. Let's just look at the first one, right? It's saying an estimated value of $585,000. Okay, estimated value $585,000. That means averaging out in the market is just a quick estimate, right? You probably want to drill in a little bit more to see what the property is actually worth in real time, right? Because sometimes they just blanket out a whole neighborhood, and that's not good enough for a comp. Okay, so if you go here, hopefully, let me see here. Okay, let me go under. I don't want to be under the property details because people's information are there, right? So if you go here, you look under pre-foreclosure detail, right? We just know that this property has what they call notice of lease pendings, okay? Notice of lease pendings with a lender, Federal Home Loan Mortgage Corporation, right? This pre-foreclosure was recorded last year, April 2024. How long does it take before they finally foreclose on the property? It takes a while. It takes a while. Remember, the bank don't want the property. That's the number one secret here today. They don't want the property. They want the money. If you understand that they want the money, then it puts you in a position as an investor to know that you can approach homeowners, like for example, this homeowner, and you can say, hey, explore the options that they have. They might want to sell. They might not want to sell, right? But for this property, if you go under lien detail, we can see what kind of money that they owe against the property. I can see a $614 for a tax lien for unpaid sewer. Okay, unpaid sewer. What else do they have? A lien number 2, $540. Keep in mind, this property is worth $585,000, right? But yet they have a lien for $614 against it. You say, so I could just pay the taxes and you get the, well, Oftentimes it's not that easy, but you never know. Some people have hit jackpot like that before. They just pay the bills. They give them a couple of $1,000. They say, you know what? Take the property away. What else other lien do they have against this property? They have another $540 here on page sewer. Okay. Now, if we go under mortgage, we can see here that there is a $162,000 mortgage against this property. It's a financing that they did back in 1998. How far do you think they've probably paid down, right? This was, they purchased this property back in 2/25/1998 under, let me see if I can see a transfer of sales from that time. Let's see here. Yep, 1998 sale amount is $162,000. And if we go under mortgage again, we can see there's a mortgage for $162,000. Now, sometimes this is accurate, sometimes not so accurate. There's a second loan here. There's a current mortgage, right? Well, this is mortgage history, but there's a actually, it looks like there's a current mortgage of only $23,000, and there's an estimated loan payment of $821. What if you approach these people and they're just so tired for whatever reason? It doesn't have to be all the way negative. They might just be like, you know what, just give me $10,000 and I'll walk away. What if, right? So this candidate of a house will be, if the property is worth $585,000 estimate, right? Average sales price in the area is $487,000. The average days of, if you place a house on the market, the average days on the market is 51 days. Okay, so you could turn around and pay $100,000 for this house. Potentially you pay off this mortgage of $23,000, or you might decide that, no, why don't I take over the payment, and I know I could rent this house for probably double this, right? Some people have creative financing that they put together like that too. That's another way. That's another, you can find it in the book, Real Estate Money Secrets. If you want access to the book, ask me. I will try to remember to place the link into the, so you can download them for free, the PDF for free, but you can also get them everywhere. They're on Amazon. So anyway, so we have monthly rent of monthly rent in that area. It says, you see a tab here that says opportunity, monthly rent of $1,658, and there's a monthly payment of $821 against this property. But there's also taxes, right? If you go under here, you can see probably under property details, we can see that there are taxes. There's a HOA fee, homeowners association fee of $309 probably monthly, right? And then where are the taxes? Taxes is $8,000 per year. So I don't know, if I do a quick math, I don't know, maybe that falls in around $600 to $700 a month, right? Something like that per month. Okay, 600 plus 300, let's just say $1,000. Let's say you're paying $1,100, right? Plus let's just say, yeah, but you have an opportunity here for $1,600. You take over the payment, you make sure the house is well maintained. Let's look at this property. It looks clean, right? Okay, it looks newly renovated. I don't know what's going on here, but again, this house is was in pre-foreclosure, was recorded at pre-foreclosure. You don't call them or reach out to them to talk about their foreclosure. You're just offering to see if they'll be willing to sell the property. This is pre-foreclosure. These are the opportunities in pre-foreclosure. But in terms of, if you end up with a property, I won't have time to go over that right now. If you end up with a property that has negative equity, meaning they owe way too much on the property, you would reach out the same way. But then there's an additional layer on that. This used to be a big bread and butter for me. Additional layer is that you have to now negotiate with the bank that they owe money against, and it's called short sale. Okay, oftentimes you will need to have a license or have a person that is licensed agent on your team to make this happen. I always do. Okay, so these are some of the opportunities available with pre-foreclosure that you might not be previewed to. If you pick up this kind of properties, it's very unlikely, and you turn them into rentals, it's unlikely that you lose money. You know why people are losing money? Because they keep going into the retail market to pay full price for these properties. In this environment right now, it's just dangerous. Okay. Instead, you need to set up a marketing machine that reaches out to this kind of people, and then you cherry pick, find the best deals. You keep that to yourself. The rest of them, you flip them to other investors or potential home buyers. They will buy a discount from you. All right. If you want more information about that, feel free to reach out to me. Let me move on to some other stuff here. All right. I'll be back.